Advancement in brief. The number of dice rolled compared to the obstacle of the test determines the difficulty of the test for advancement. Consult the table for details. Exponent 1 to 4 skills must be advanced by filling up the routine test requirement. Then, meeting either the difficult or challenging test requirement will push the skill up to the next exponent level. Exponent 5 plus skills only advance via difficult and challenging tests. Routine tests no longer count for advancement. Stats only advance via difficult and challenging tests regardless of their exponent. Attributes. Steel and health advance as skills. Experience log. Note the level of the test on your experience log. A series of rolls in a single scene or conflict equals 1 test for advancement. Graduated tests. A test with no fixed obstacle counts as a routine test. Versus tests use your opponent's number of successes as the obstacle. Help and advancement. Helping dice count towards the total number of dice rolled for a test, thereby making the test easier to pass and less significant for advancement. Forks and advancement. Forks count towards the total dice rolled. They make the test easier and usually lower the difficulty. Advantage and advancement. Advantages count towards the total dice rolled and potentially reduce the difficulty of the test. Social skills and advancement. Be sure to set obstacles and roll dice after a good performance. Practice. Daily time devoted to a skill nets a test after a number of months or a year. Any character's actions that don't count as a test count as practice. Learning new skills. To learn a new skill, a player must make a number of tests equal to his aptitude for the skill. Aptitudes are 10 minus the root stat of the skill. Once the required tests are earned, the new skill is opened at half the root stat, rounded down. Beliefs, instincts and traits. In the introduction to the game, I mentioned that each player is obliged to set out a series of priorities for his character. Priorities that describe the player's goals for his character and how he means to achieve them. There are 3 sets of player-chosen priorities: beliefs, instincts and traits. Each has a different effect on how you play your character and how you are rewarded. Beliefs. When a player brings to life a new character in Burning Wheel, he furnishes that character with 3 beliefs. In essence, these are the top 3 priorities for the character in play. These are not general beliefs, like God or country. They are explicitly stated drives that tie directly to the world and setting. Examples of beliefs are, I must serve the Etharch so that I might be redeemed for my crime, or I will protect my friend's sister at any cost. When sculpting your character's beliefs, think, what do I want out of this character and this situation? How can my character's beliefs reflect that? Then shape your character's beliefs to reflect those priorities. Creating beliefs for your character is discussed in detail in the Character Burner. Anchored beliefs. Beliefs are not arbitrarily chosen. You relate each one to what is going on in the game. They bind your character into the world. As they are challenged, they give you the chance to express what your character is about. Beliefs in play. By openly and honestly setting out your priorities, you help the GM and other players get the most out of the game. Now they all know what you're after, and they can help you get it. Stating a belief for a peasant, I am the true king of this land, does not make it factual in-game. But by getting it out in the open, you are letting the other players know that you want situations revolving around that theme. A mad peasant rising to challenge the established order. Other players are both in on the irony and drama, and they help you get the most out of them. You might not succeed, but playing out that struggle is what the game is about. Of course, this doesn't mean the characters are aware of each other's beliefs. We're talking about a strict separation of player and character here. Beliefs are meant to be challenged, betrayed, and broken. Such emotional drama makes for a good game. If your character has a belief, I guard the prince's life with my own, and the prince is slain before your eyes in the climax of the scenario, then that's your chance to play out a tortured and dramatic scene and really go ballistic. Conversely, if the prince is killed right out of the gate, the character is drained of purpose. Note the player stated he wanted to defend the prince in play, not avenge him. Killing the prince in the first session sucks the life out of the character. He really has no reason to participate any longer. But if the prince dies in the grand climax, c'est la vie. The protector must now roll with the punches and react to this new change. Even better if the prince dies due to the actions or failures of his own guardian. Now that's good stuff. Another example, we once had a character with the belief, "I will one day restore my wife's life." His wife had died and he kept her body around, trying to figure out a way to bring her back. Well, midway through the game, the GM magically restored his wife to the land of the living. I've never seen a more crushed player. He didn't know what to do. He had stated that the quest and the struggle was the goal, not the end result. One day, he said, but the GM insisted, and the whole scenario and the character were ruined for that player. Lastly, there is more to beliefs than just melodrama. In fact, they are used most with the Arta mechanics. Players manipulate their characters' beliefs and the situation of gameplay in order to earn Arta. Arta is discussed in detail in the next chapter. Changing beliefs. A player may change his character's beliefs as he sees fit. Characters are meant to grow and change through play. Changing beliefs is a vital part of that growth. However, the GM has final say over when a belief may be changed. If he feels the player is changing a belief to wriggle out of a difficult situation and not as part of character growth, then he may delay the change until a time he sees appropriate. Danny Strider has the belief, "One man can make a difference." At the end of the adventure, Danny realizes his character spent all his time helping his friends and holding the group together. He announces that his character's outlook has changed, and so has his belief. He changes it to, "Only together shall we be victorious over our enemies." Another example, Pete's and Chris's characters have an argument in the game. Pete's smuggler character is ensorcelled by an enchanted bell. He asks Chris's wizard to destroy the device. Chris refuses, intimating that the bell could be used in the future for controlling the smuggler. Pete's character has the belief, "The sorcerers who ruined my life must pay, with their lives." He is so livid after this argument, he turns to the GM. "I'm changing my belief. I'm expanding it. All sorcerers are evil, foul creatures. They must be purged from the earth." That includes Chris's wizard. Sweet. Instincts. Instincts are also player priorities for a character, but they have a different mechanical application than beliefs. Rather than reflect who or what the character is, instincts help define how the character acts. What's been drilled into the character's head? What life lessons has he been forced to learn? What has he taught himself in order to survive? These are instincts in Burning Wheel. Players choose 3 for their characters. Always, never, when, or if then. The best instincts are defined as clear statements, either always do X or never do Y, or as if this condition arises, then take this action. What an instinct does is set a condition and reaction to that condition for the character, and this reaction behaviour of the character is sacrosanct. As long as the conditions are met, the action is done. The player doesn't even have to announce it. It either happens behind the scenes or instantly, without hesitation. A common instinct is something like, "When on patrol, always have my bow ready and an arrow nocked." Even if the player never states this, so long as it's written on the character sheet, it is fact. Instincts allow players to set conditions for their characters that might otherwise break the rules. Do you have a draw sword instinct? Well then, your character's sword is drawn at the start of combat without having to spend extra actions. Instincts can't allow you to bypass a test, but they can ensure you made the test at some time before trouble started. Insurance. Instincts can also be described as player character insurance versus GM onslaught. They are a mechanical way to ensure your character behaves in a certain manner which can't be contravened by the GM. But instincts don't need to be adversarial. In fact, they work better when the player and GM cooperate, using instincts to drive the character in play. Like beliefs, instincts can be used to earn Arta. See the next chapter, the Arta Wheel, for more on that. Changing instincts. A player may change his character's instincts as he sees fit, as the character's experience in play changes him. Rich's insurrectionist watched his friend's mind get warped and twisted by a foul wizard until he was nothing more than a drooling thrall. As soon as the scene ended, Rich turned to the GM. "I'm changing one of my instincts. I'm losing always scrounge for weapons after a battle, and changing it to, if I am ensorcelled by a wizard, I plunge my sword into my throat and kill myself." Quite a brutal instinct, but it was something he felt very passionately about. However, the GM has final say over when an instinct may be changed. If he feels the player is changing an instinct to be a munchkin and power gamer, and not as part of character growth, then he may delay the change until a time that he sees appropriate.